So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another Way of the Hunter video. Now this video was recorded during the early access for Matariki Park, so a huge thank you to Nine Rocks Games and the Way of the Hunter team for allowing me to take part in this early access. Now in this video we're going to be taking a look at some of the trophies that I ended up getting for some of the older species that are also present here on Matariki Park. Starting off with an albino whitetail doe. Now it says in the patch notes that the spawn rates for albinos, melanistics and leucistics should have been adjusted to make them rarer. I must say during my experience here in early access for Matariki Park, I haven't noticed a difference for the spawn rate of rares. They do seem to be as common as ever, which is a shame because I would love to see the rares being more rare because, you know, then they have more of a value. I did end up finding quite a few rares during my time here in the early access, and this was just one of the rare whitetail that I ended up finding. Now you can see because this is a young albino whitetail doe that she's actually sort of more of a creamy off-white colour, not a sort of stark bright white, which as they mature they do become sort of a brighter white in coloration, more of a stark white. So that is something that's interesting and that's something you can notice as albinos actually age. They obviously don't get greyer like the normal commons, but they do get more bright white, like this mature albino whitetail doe. So nice to actually have the contrast here between a youngster and a mature albino, and you can see that this albino is much brighter white. It's sort of almost glowing out there, and when we actually look at her in the harvest screen you can really see the difference in coloration, almost sort of a pure snow white versus that off-white or sort of egg white colour of the youngster. So really cool to actually see, and something you can notice if you are trying to mature an albino animal. Now moving on to the next set of clips, and we're going to be taking a look at some Rocky Mountain elk here on Matariki Park. Now the elk that are in New Zealand in real life are actually Rocky Mountain elk, so this is the correct species to be on this map. I got some comments about that, I did some research into it, and they are Rocky Mountain elk, so this is the correct description for them as far as I can tell. So we actually have two 5-star mature Rocky Mountain elk bulls here in this same herd. Now if you're wondering where I am, I'm right on the edge of the lowland forest where I actually showed the hotspots for red deer in one of my previous videos. This entire area has fantastic genetics for basically all of the species that it encompasses, and these Rocky Mountain elk, being on just the very edge of the lowland forest, also have fantastic genetics. Now that first 5-star, as you will have seen, was going down from a vital hit, and I was just keeping an eye there to see where the rest of the herd were going so that we could take down the second 5-star after a little bit of a track. Now this guy did not go very far at all before he went down, and he has a really nice set of antlers with some good back tines and just a really nice frame. Now he dropped pretty quickly from a shot there from the 338, nice clean double lung shot, so that brought him down nice and quickly. Now, taking a look at his genetics, he's an 88.47%, so smaller end for a 5-star, but still a really nice 5-star to come across. Scores 460.1, so like I said, again, a smaller 5-star mature, but still really cool to actually get my first 5-star Rocky Mountain elk here on Matariki Park. Now, after following the herd, I ended up finding the second 5-star here, and you can see he's actually on the skyline here, giving us a pretty good quartering 2 shot, and actually managed to drop this guy on the spot there with the 338. That was absolutely fantastic. Now this guy has a really cool set of antlers. He's got some really cool back tines, and I love the way that the sort of the third and fourth back tine curl in like that. It looks really cool. So I'm a big fan of how this rack actually looks. Just a very beautiful 5-star bull. Now, we managed to get this guy with just a single lung shot, so interesting that this actually dropped this guy when a double lung shot didn't drop the first 5-star. That was interesting, but we did manage to drop this guy, and he's a 98.03%. So genetically a lot better than the previous 5-star that we just harvested. And I was curious as to what he was going to score, because I didn't know how old these bulls actually were, and he scores 465, so I could have left this guy alive for a little bit longer and he would have got a bit bigger. But, you know, like I said, I didn't know how old these guys actually were, so as soon as I saw that they were both 5-stars, I just decided to take them both out, and I'm pleased that we ended up with 2 5-stars from the same herd. Shame that that guy could have got a bit bigger, but still, 2 5-star bulls is really, really nice. Now, actually, after a little bit of time, I came back to the same herd, and there was another 5-star mature. Now, again, I wasn't quite sure how old this guy was, I just knew that he was a 5-star. It had been a little while since I'd come to check on this herd, and I had no idea how long this guy had actually been a mature at this point, and just seeing that he was a 5-star, obviously we are going to try and take him out. Now, I was just waiting for him here to turn and give me some kind of shot, because I didn't feel confident with that frontal angle, and as he turns there, I went to take a shot, and immediately, as I pulled the trigger, I knew it was too far back. I knew that that was too far back immediately. I was not happy with that shot. So you can see I'm keeping a very close eye on where this bull goes. I knew even if it was a gut shot that it would end up killing this guy, but that's not the kind of shot that I really want. So I was just waiting to see if he would present another opportunity, and if not, where he was actually going to go and bed down, to see if we could end up getting a second shot into him to end up bringing him down a little bit more quickly. And you can see he is slowing down, he's got his head down, and he is trotting slowly. So this shot would have brought him down eventually. He would have gone and bedded down and died. But like I said, I always prefer to make a better shot as a follow-up if I have to, rather than just let them go and expire from a gut shot. Now you can see I caught up with the herd, and he is led there, he is bedded down to actually bleed out, but we are going to take a second shot just because it's more of an ethical thing, and also just to bring this guy down a little bit more quickly. So that second shot I knew had actually connected with the vitals, and I could tell that he was not going to go much further after that. This guy was pretty much done for at this point. And you can see he's actually slowing down even further here, and he's actually going to bed down there to actually finally expire. And it wasn't long after that shot that he did actually finally expire, and now we can actually go and pick this guy up. Now, I absolutely love this rack because of the incredible brows. They are just absolutely huge, and they look so, so fantastic. This is a gorgeous looking bull. Now, you can see that first shot was just way too far back. I was trying to put it into those lungs as he turned. Really, really unfortunate. But then into the lungs for the second shot, just to bring this guy down a little bit quicker. And this guy was a 99.77%. So I knew this guy should potentially have, you know, a really high score, but he only scores 471.1, so this guy probably could have been left alive for another cycle and got quite a bit bigger. But like I said, he was a 5-star, I didn't know how old he was, so I wasn't going to risk that. And he's a really gorgeous bull. Now, something I have to say is I was told in a comment that the Rocky Mountain elk have new racks on this map. I have not seen any new racks for these guys, but if you guys do see any new racks, feel free to post them in my Discord and tag me, because I'd be really curious to see them. I will link my Discord in the description of this video, so please feel free to join and join in on all the conversations. And if you have shot any elk that seem to have a new 5-star rack, please feel free to show me. I'd be really curious to see them. Now, as you will have just seen, we actually ended up shooting a 5-star mature whitetail, and as I was on my way to pick him up, I spotted this herd of red deer, and there's a 3-star, a 4-star, and a 5-star mature actually in this herd. So, of course, we are going to try and take out the 5-star mature before we go and collect the whitetail buck that we just shot. Now, once again, if you're wondering about location, this is once again in one of those red deer hotspots that I showed in my red deer hunting video on the first day of release for this map. So if you're curious about these locations, do go and check that video out. This entire area is just a great hotspot for feral pigs, sika, red deer, whitetail, and like I said, on the very edge of the lowland forest, I've had good success with the Rocky Mountain elk. So this is a fantastic area. Now, this guy is going down. You can see, once again, he is slowing down and is going to end up going to actually bed down and expire over there. So I was really happy with that shot. And we're going to let that guy go and expire and actually go and pick up the 5-star mature whitetail that we just shot. Now, this guy dropped, which is no surprise, from a double long shot with the 338. Obviously, an overpowered round for this guy, but dropped him on the spot, which is what I was looking for. And this guy is a 98.52% male. Now, I knew that this guy had just become a 5-star, but he was looking really old. So I was pretty confident that he was towards the end of his life, so I knew that he should have a really solid score. Having genetics that high, I mean 98.52% is really, really solid. And looking at his score, he is a 494, so pretty confident I took this guy at the right time, which is really nice considering that we just had a couple of elk that could have been left alive a little bit longer. And then, of course, after picking up that guy, we do actually go and find the red deer, who had literally gone just behind that little bit of a hill and actually led down and expired. So this guy was just a nice bonus to get in a video where we're focusing mostly on the older species. Of course, red deer are technically an older species, but they do have the different antlers and are technically different here on New Zealand. As you can see, it's red deer brackets New Zealand for the name, so they are technically different to the Transylvania red deer, but just a nice bonus to end up getting this guy in a video focusing on the older species here on Matariki Park. This guy scores 470.9, and considering his genetics, I'm pretty confident that this was the right time to take him, so really happy with that. Like I said, just a nice bonus. Now, for the final 2 clips of this video, we have an old species with a brand new rare fur. We have Melanistic Fallow deer. Now, to start off with, we have a Melanistic Fallow deer doe, and even though she stood in the shadows there, you can see that that is very clearly a Melanistic. She is like a shadow herself walking around. Absolutely amazing. And as she runs off there, you can see the very clear difference between her and the common females. So I was really excited to go and take a closer look at this incredible new rare variation. Now, actually walking up to her, she's absolutely stunning. It's kind of hard to see because of the dappled sunlight, but you can still see those classic fallow deer spots and markings, like as the Melanistic, which is so cool. I absolutely love seeing this. They're not just a solid jet black, they still have those markings, which I just absolutely love. That is a fantastic detail, and this has actually made them one of my new favourite rares in this game. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning. Look at her. She's beautiful. That is so gorgeous. Like I said, that black fur, but with those classic fallow deer markings in sort of a lighter grey tone. That is just simply gorgeous. I was so excited when I read on the patch notes that Melanistic Fallow deer were now in the game, and I was really hoping I would end up finding one during the early access. So when I found this, I was super excited. I mean, what a stunning animal. That is so beautiful. This has to be my favourite Melanistic in the game, honestly. They're just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I really hope Way of the Hunter add several more rares for all of the different species. I'd love to see an update that just gives tons and tons of rares, because stuff like this is so gorgeous. I mean, this is beautiful, and adding stuff like this to the Trophy Lodge is, for me, one of the coolest things. Rares are always my favourite things in hunting games, finding those unique animals, and the more and more of these that we see getting added to this game, the better. Now, moving on to the final clip, and we actually have a Melanistic Fallow deer buck to go along with our doe from the previous clip. This guy is a 2-star mature, and when I found him, he was already a 2-star mature. I didn't know how old he was, and I was taking a look at him, and seeing as he is a 2-star, I was pretty confident he wasn't going to get much bigger, so I decided that I would take this guy out basically as soon as I saw him. And once again, you can see just the contrast between him and the commons as they walk by, literally like a walking shadow, which is just so cool to see. Now, I was keeping a very close eye on this guy as he ran off and just watching him leave that incredibly bright blood trail when I noticed that something was coming at me quite quickly there, and actually one of the does from the herd had actually gone aggressive and come and attacked me, which was something I'd never experienced from fallow deer in this game. I knew that they could go aggressive, but I never actually had one go aggressive until that moment. So that was really, really cool. It just added to the overall experience. But even though this guy is a 2-star, so a smaller mature, he still has a really, really nice set of antlers. I mean, he is an absolutely gorgeous smaller buck. Beautiful animal, and obviously he is a 2-star, so he could have been even smaller than this. So really, really happy to actually get a decent size melanistic buck as my first one. Really, really awesome. Now you can see this diagrams did a fantastic job there, double lunged him and he didn't go far at all, and he was a 54.48%, so I'm super happy that I actually took him out when I did and that I actually found him when I did, because I'm pretty confident that the next age cycle this guy would have actually died. So a really lucky find, and he is just gorgeous, the same as with that doe. Just a beautiful, beautiful animal. Like I said, my favourite melanistic in the game now, and one of my new dream 5-stars is a 5-star melanistic fallow, and that's something I'm probably going to grind for, probably actually over on Transylvania. I prefer Transylvania for the fallow deer. I mean, maybe that's just because I've managed my fallow deer over on Transylvania a lot, but I just have herds that I know are really, really good, and, you know, maybe I have a better chance of getting one over on Transylvania. But either way, I would absolutely love to get a 5-star for these guys. I think it would be one of the most majestic trophies you can get. There's a couple now that I would really love to get off of Matariki Park. Obviously, a 5-star melanistic fallow, as I just mentioned. 5-star albino New Zealand red would be incredible. So there's a few that would be really, really cool to get off of this map. And I hope eventually they add more rares for things like the Rocky Mountain elk. I mean, how cool would an albino Rocky Mountain elk be? I think that would be such a cool rare to actually come across. So fingers crossed that in the coming months we see more updates and more new rares added like this, because I mean, they have just done such a fantastic job with the melanistic fallow, and I'm a little bit sad that they are the only new rare with this update. I was hoping for at least 2, considering that's normally what we see with new maps from what we've seen in the past. So I hope that we'll see some more in the future. But like I said, I'm super, super happy to have gotten not 1, but 2, a nice pair of melanistic fallow deer for the trophy lodge. But that is going to be it for this video, so thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always. I was really excited to end up getting all of these trophies and have these different experiences. For me though, the 2 melanistic fallow deer are my favourites. They're just so beautiful, and this melanistic buck is probably my overall favourite. Just a really gorgeous animal. But like I said, that is going to be it for this one. So thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.